Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very interesting point and very compelling argument that Kevin Brock makes, and he's the former Assistant Director of Intelligence for the Federal Bureau of Investigation in The Hill today. Unsealed Mar-a-Lago search warrant affidavit reveals the government has no case against Trump. And I'll read this to you. It basically talks about how within the unredacted portion, which isn't a lot of the search warrant, there's only a small percentage of it that is actually unredacted. The whole thing is just mostly redacted. And within the unredacted portion, there's no statement that Trump committed an actual crime. There's no statement that Trump actually committed an actual crime. It talks about how he had classified documents, but he was in lawful possession of classified documents as a former president. And then it talks about how, well, he might have removed them or he might have destroyed them, but there's no evidence that he did. There's no evidence that he destroyed any documents. Him ripping apart a document and putting it in the toilet is a fantasy, like the usual fantasies of Democrats. With him in a hotel room. Like, nothing they've ever accused him of has been accurate. They talk about Trump lying all the time. They're the ones who lie all the time. He's telling the truth. When he says he wasn't working with the Kremlin, this is the truth. When he said he didn't commit crimes in Georgia or New York, or this is the truth. They haven't. You don't need 2 years or 6 years to find a crime. If there's a criminal that committed crimes, it's pretty evident early on that you can, like, you have the suspect, the motive, the evidence. It's not difficult. This isn't rocket science. What they've done with Trump is they have accused him of everything under the sun without any evidence, and then searched and investigated to find some evidence that he committed something. And then they say, he keeps flouting the rule of law. The rule of law was completely ripped to shreds, and I want a Hillary Trump 2024, okay? But when Clinton had servers running outside of the United States government siphoning classified data onto servers and then destroying 30,000 emails, stating, they're personal records, you can't touch them. It's like, well, without government oversight, and you have servers that could easily be infiltrated by the entire planet, and you have classified documents for 4 years that somehow her team was able to transfer and siphon from the U.S. government onto those secret servers that even President Obama didn't know of. And then Comey said, well, there was no intent. Inherent to owning private servers is the intent to hide. And so the redacted portion here with Trump, he wasn't doing anything in a secretive manner. He was negotiating with the National Archives and the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Department of Justice. He's a former president. God forbid Trump ever has a difference of opinion from the hall monitors of our government and society. God forbid. My God, this man can't, like if you have a difference, if Biden or anyone else has a difference of opinion from Republicans or from Trump's administration, look, Trump's administration is wrong. If, God forbid, Trump has a different viewpoint, it's, oh my God, he has to be wrong. He has no right to do this. He should be prosecuted. It's like, no. If you committed a crime like Hunter, those emails with 150 suspicious financial transactions, and hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're all going to zoom past 200,000 subs because of you. But if you have a difference of opinion and you're a former president, so what? You can't just go ahead and the Mar-a-Lago raid was a public relations stunt, okay? That was, Democrats have an economy in free fall, terrible foreign policy, and the only thing they run on, they keep saying, well, they're running on the Dobbs decision. Well, what are they? They're not going to overturn the Supreme Court decision, and if you're in a blue state, they're going to have Democratic policies there anyway. So it's like, that's left up to the states. You're not going to overturn any of those decisions. I mean, from a federal level. So, like, you're running on the Dobbs decision, okay. So, in red states, that's not going to work. You're going to have to convince, Democrats will have to convince conservatives and Republicans that their viewpoint on that topic is logical and just and moral and rational. Democrats don't like that. They like social media algorithms. They like the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They like being able to enforce their viewpoint. They'll disown friends and family because they live within a cloak of cognitive dissonance. They cannot articulate their viewpoint without this apoplectic and hysterical reaction. And so when Trump, and hit subscribe to this channel, hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel, the H.A. Goodman's other channel, and also if you want to become a member, please do become a member of this channel. And also, if you want to support my work long-term, ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below. If you enjoy my work, my Patreon is below in the description and eventually in the pinned comment. But the unredacted portions, and he talks about this. This is really, really interesting. The unredacted portions of the unredacted parts of the affidavit make no attempt to articulate cause that Trump was not authorized to have these documents in his home. The reason is that as president, he had broad legal intimidating authority established by law and court determinations to declassify any and all documents and to determine what is and is not a presidential record. I don't think there's much chance the affidavit redacted portions contain some novel legal theory undercutting this broad, well-established presidential authority. And so the unredacted parts, the DOJ and the Federal Bureau of Investigation want you to assume, Democrats want you to assume that there's so much glaring evidence within the redacted portion. They want you to assume that within the redacted portion, it's the holy grail of corruption. It's the Rosetta Stone of Trump's nefarious criminality. But they would have already leaked all of that if they had anything on Trump. See, this is when I say that he could still get indicted. They set up and framed an innocent man. See, nobody looks at Trump like a regular human being. People on the left who don't like him, they're like, oh, he's capable of anything. Just keep investigating him. You'll find something somehow. That's not how you conduct a criminal investigation. A criminal investigation has to have a crime first, not the possibility that a crime exists one day as long as you keep investigating. See, with Clinton and with Hunter, there were crimes there. You could see it. If the Bureau goes after their homes, no one's going to actually, question why. Maybe with Hillary, but with Hunter, they'll know exactly why. 6 years ago with the servers, they would know exactly why. When they went after Trump, nobody knew. People were like, why? What could he have done this time? Well, that's the problem. When you don't know why this man is being investigated, we've crossed the Rubicon of politically motivated investigations in this country. When Democrats, the people who are desperate to indict this man, when there's a Mar-a-Lago raid and they still are at a loss for words and they don't know exactly why he's being investigated, but they know it's really bad, that's a huge problem. That is a really huge problem. You can't accuse Trump of a crime when you don't even know why he's being investigated. And owning classified documents, even owning top secret documents, as a president of the United States of America, who had the documents primarily for a library, which is what all presidents have, and like President Obama, for example, had 30 million unclassified documents. What are the chances the majority of those documents is this information that he doesn't want anyone to know? They were supposed to be digitized. They were supposed to be out in the open for people to just read 30 million pages. Trump didn't have 30 million pages. He had 15 boxes. How can you even read 30 million? How long would it take a person to read 30 million pages? How long did it take the National Archives to sift through 30 million documents? Okay? But that's the thing. Democrats hide in plain sight. Trump sneezes and they want a federal investigation. And it's like, with Hunter and Hillary, they did commit crimes. And I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. I think we need to relive that. That'd be fantastic. But ladies and gentlemen, the redacted parts of the search warrant affidavit exonerate Trump. The reason being, we would have already known what's in that. If it was the holy grail of corruption, we would have already known, essentially, what's in those redacted portions. And the unredacted portions don't really list the crime. He's a former president with legal access to that information, and he could have declassified the information himself. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.